you know, I study all kind of shit that I just interested in. And he's a person I want to dive deeper into because he was fascinated by the technology of like Kemet, the people of what they call Egypt now, because their technology was more advanced than ours, but everything coexisted with nature. It was nature. Like, instead of like drill bits and all these tools, they would be able to carve stone and move like rocks, like that's like a ton with sound and things like that. You know what I mean? So they had light with, you know, crystals and prisms and diamonds and stuff like that. So with precious metals. So Nikola Tesla was tapped into that. That's why Elon Musk named his company Tesla.
Civilize the mind, make savage the body. This is the Civil Mind, Savage Body podcast, and I'm your host, Rashid King. We will explore and discuss ways to expand consciousness, increase your health, reverse aging, and refine our lifestyles to live a life in an abundance. Now, we're currently aware of 3 dimensions, but as technology and human intellect advances, consciously tapping into the 4th dimension is inevitable. 3 dimensions of space, 1 dimension of time. That extra dimension is a degree of freedom. However, can we travel back in time? I don't think so. But is that accurate? Or are we looking at this the wrong way? Let's say you wanted to find me, right? You have to know my exact location, and you have to know when I'm there. Is time just a construct, or is it as natural as the air that we breathe? One thing that I'm certain of is I don't know. I don't believe anything. I either know or I don't know. But hopefully together, we'll all find out. Enjoy the show.
On average, the human body is comprised of about 70% water. There's more water in lean muscle tissue than there is in fatty tissue. The places that have the most amount of water in order goes as follows. Number 1 is the brain, then the kidneys, heart, lungs, muscle, liver, skin, blood, bones, and then your teeth. We need water to function properly. Water is needed in helping the brain cells get the electrical energy they need to perform optimally. Water is also best at helping your body produce enough hormones and neurotransmitters. In fact, half of your brain's energy is spent sending and receiving signals throughout the nervous system from the brain. When you're hydrated, your brain works better. Approximately 3/4 of our brain is water. And with that being said, even slight dehydration can cause fatigue, headaches, lack of mental clarity, stress, and sleep problems. Now, all water is not the same. For instance, people think that drinking bottled water is safe. It's actually really bad for the environment because of the amount of plastic that we run through by drinking bottled water. And also, studies show that bottled water is no better than sink water. The plastic in bottled water often contains chemicals, BPA, and phthalates, which are proven to be hazardous to the human health. And tap water contains fecal matter, and that's gross. That's nasty. That's super nasty. Contaminated water can cause diarrhea, cholera, dysentery, typhoid, and polio. Contaminated drinking water is estimated to cause about 502,000 diarrheal deaths every year. That's 500,000 people. So that's why Megan and Tori came by to talk to me about Kangen water. It's an antioxidant-rich alkaline water that aids in real hydration. It detoxifies the body and it helps in anti-aging due to the minerals that's in it. I have a device in my home for Kangen water and it literally tastes so refreshing. I used to think all water was the same, but after Megan came by my office, she did the test for me, the pH test. I seen the difference and the actual taste. I used to hate how water tastes, but Alkaline, this Kangen water, is freaking amazing. Everybody in my house drinks it. And since I've got it, I never put tap water back in my body again. That's a fact. You don't have to take my word for it. I have 2 experts in the field here to talk about it. So I hope y'all enjoy the show.
Yeah, I'm going to roll them on just because this light's in my eyes and I'd rather do that.
Nah, don't say that.
Cool?
Just because it's fly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's lights in my eyes.
Yeah,
I'm like, let me put them on real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
If I have mine in here, I throw my shit on. Shit. That's the fly shit.
Men in Black, here we go.
It look that shit look fire. So,
Yeah, it looks. I like it on. So
I wear mine in here all the time.
I know.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why I've been like watching them. Like I've had them in. And I was like, I didn't know. And I'm like, I want to put them on. So
I be in interviews. I remember like the last Olympia, Muscle and Fitness, they was interviewing me. I had my grill on, all of that shit.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Speaking intelligently.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the best.
So yeah. So how long you been into it, and what were you doing before that, and how'd you get into the water business?
Yeah, so I got into the water through a good friend of mine, and she's a holistic healer, just an all-around good person, and she really told me about the secret to hydration. I never knew anything about that to be true. I come from like really just places where we drink out the hose. Like that was never something that I really knew to be true. And after I started to understand like hydration through drinking the water, it was relevant to just not be a part of it. So I purchased my machine in 2018 and just started honestly really seeing changes. I've never been hydrated my whole life. I thought drinking water is all created equal, but it's not. So I got into the water and started just helping a lot of people throughout the way. And 4 years now, and I've helped hundreds of people globally. You
bought the machine for your health benefits, right?
Yeah.
But you also make money through it too, right?
Absolutely.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so when you purchase a machine, Enagic's way of compensating you is because they don't do any advertising. So you're never going to see it on a commercial. The only way you're going to see it is from an organic source like us talking about it.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's changed my entire life through, everyone I help, there's a compensation, and anyone else they help, it's a full flow of everyone hydrating that way.
Right. And Megan, did you get your machine from him?
I did. So something that we say in our community is you don't find the water finds you. Okay. And late 2020, I was introduced to it by multiple sources, and Tori was just someone I really aligned with. And I have been in the fitness industry. I practice healing arts, and obviously with that, it shows I want to help people, but working one-on-one with people, I knew I couldn't have the impact that I needed to fulfill my purpose. Right. And so what this enables me to do is really help people on a global scale and help more than just the people I see face to face. I was going through a lot of health issues myself, struggling with depression. I had really terrible cystic acne all over and just struggled with just my body not detoxing itself. So I was having a bunch of cellulite and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I was taking prescription medicine for not only my mental health, but my skin. And, I'm not making any medical claims because, nothing can heal you. No water, no food, no supplement, nothing, but our body is designed to heal itself.
Right, that's correct.
And so what's cool about this water is that it puts your body into a position to where it can do that, and it can restore your body to a homeostasis type place. So it helped my health so tremendously. It's such a blessing, and I'm so grateful for it because, with medications and stuff, there's no end game,
Right. Well, you got to think the nature of the pharmaceutical industry. Now, I'm not shitting on medicine and pharmaceutical industry. I think it's great. Like, if I'm in pain and I don't want to be in pain, hook me up. You know what I'm saying? It serves a purpose. You know what I'm saying? People abuse it sometimes, but like anything can be abused, you know? So, but inherently it's not bad. But the nature of the business of it is a business, is to continue to keep your customers.
I'm a chemist. I love scientific method, always have. And when I worked for the drug industry, science was completely abandoned. These drug companies that I was interviewing with had no problem telling me, look, we design drugs based on treating symptoms. We don't cure. So that's a business model, okay, that allows you to give a drug to a person for life.
So healing is not ideal for pharmaceutical industry, maintaining, you know what I'm saying? Until you run out and come get a refill. Like, they run up the bag, you know what I mean? And people don't realize this, like, I don't have insurance. I haven't had insurance in years, right? And I used to have insurance. And so I know what I pay for everything, and I know what shit used to cost. And I'm like, yo, this is egregious. Like, insurance companies are bad, but people be putting a lot of like heat on pharmaceutical big pharma, but you gotta put a lot of heat on these doctors in these hospitals. They be running up the bag for.
Let's talk about one of the biggest issues weighing on the pharma industry right now. and that is drug prices.
From $18 a tablet jumping to $750 a tablet, up 4,000% in just 24 hours.
Do you feel badly about what's happening?
No, in fact, we're increasing access to patients, Meg.
We've all heard about Martin Shkreli raising the price of Daraprim, but what about colchicine or epinephrine? The prices of those drugs have both skyrocketed because one company has control over it. The response is usually the same. The companies need to raise prices to fund the research and development for the next drug.
For the most part, high-priced drugs have patent protection from the government. They pretty much have a monopoly in a market. So very often you have someone who needs a specific cancer drug. There's one company that makes it. They're the only company that makes it. No one else can make it. And since it might be absolutely necessary for your life, they're in a position where they can charge anything they want.
How is that possible? Well, there's not really anyone stopping it.
Once people realized you can get away with this stuff, it became a race to the top.
It's also important to remember that many of these costs are adding up during a very stressful time. Sometimes the people paying the bills aren't even conscious.
The analogy I often make is firefighters when they come to a burning house. So when your house is on fire, your family's inside, you don't want to be sitting there negotiating with the firefighters, I'm willing to pay you $300,000, they want $400,000. That's not how you want to do this, and often healthcare does have that character.
Medical emergencies are chaotic, and health insurance is confusing. There are HMOs, PPOs, deductibles, copays, and premiums to try and make sense of. You'd think that if people are insured, they shouldn't have to pay that much out of pocket. But that's not always the case. Not every doctor accepts every insurance plan, and some hospitals have staff employed by multiple third-party companies. So one trip to the ER could get you 5 different bills, and your insurance might only cover one. Today, nearly 30 million Americans are uninsured. That's down from roughly 55 million in 2010 before the Affordable Care Act. But it's still a higher percentage than countries like France, Japan, and Israel. The insurance companies are supposed to be negotiating their prices lower because in a lot of cases, they're ultimately the ones footing the bill. But as we've seen over the last few decades, that cost can still get passed on to consumers.
Health costs can contribute to all sorts of inequalities in society. And so people who are poor or middle class even, they're just one serious illness away from bankruptcy.
So if I have insurance, my visit is like $800. Without insurance is $40. Why? It's the same visit. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And they mark up the medicine the same way if the insurance company's paying for it. That's not cool. That's egregious. Now, off of that, you came to me. Now, people have came to me with Kangen for years, right? But they always came to me with some like kind of hustle vibe. Like I'm just like, and the person that would come to me was never doing well. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you're not a good representation. You know what I'm saying? They was never selling it to me on the fact that it's good for you. You know what I mean? So you're the first person like that has come to me talking about Kangen, but you never talked about money or business or none of that. You talked about the health benefits, and I gave a lot of pushback because I'm like, yo, water's water. I'm a healthy dude. It don't matter. Water's water. Don't matter. And I don't like the taste of water. You know what I'm saying? So, but I drink water because you have to. So she was very persistent and was like, just try it. Okay. I tried it. I was like, I can't front, this is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it tastes good. Like, literally tastes good, right? So, and then she did a whole test. Let's talk about that test, because, I do that with supplements to show people how effective my stuff is. So I had to respect it. Like, talk about that test.
So I took some samples of water, some of the water he's serving, here and out of the fridge and stuff like that, and I just used pH drops that you use to test, your pool water, any type of liquid really, and I just was able to show him, what's acidic, what's alkaline, and I also brought alkaline bottled water and was able to show that although it can test alkaline for a period of time, the second it hits our body, it's no longer alkaline because there's chemical additives. What I love about this water is the only ingredients are H2O, you know what I mean?
So let's talk about, for people that don't understand, what is, people say alkaline, but why is that important? Why should people care about alkalinity?
I think alkalinity is extremely important because we are constantly bombarded with different types of oxidative stress in our environment. Yeah, free radicals, from EMF from our devices, the food we eat, everything that's just kind of shoved in our face. And so this allows it works really as a solvent to deconstruct that acidity in our body and alkalize our tissue to create an environment to where, we can heal ourselves. And, we're born alkaline. And so over time and exposure to different things, we become acidic. And so the meaning of this water means to return to origin, which is alkaline.
That's dope. So
Yes.
I gotta say this is real. Since I've been drinking it, I feel a lot healthier, a lot better. I'm very in tune with my body. I've been a very active person since I was a kid and a pretty healthy person. I'm very in tune with myself, and I just feel an overall sense of just wellness, a better overall sense of wellness. I take supplements, I take high-end product, and, I could tell it's absorbing way better. You know what I'm saying? So for those who don't know what the nature of free radicals and oxidizing of cells in your body.
Oxidation, okay, a very exciting topic. Originally, this meant adding oxygen to a compound and the losing of an electron, okay? When you lose an electron from an atom, you create a free radical. So these atoms have paired electrons. As an example, you have this plate and you're spinning it, right, on your finger, and it has 2 weights on it, and you can balance that plate as you spin it, okay? But a free radical is when you remove an electron and you have what's called an unpaired electron. So it just has 1 weight on a plate and you're spinning this thing. Well, guess what? It's gonna fly off and break something. Well, in the body, it's gonna start damaging tissue, DNA, etc. So that's the problem with free radicals, okay? And it can come from adding an oxygen to some other compound. Now, the definition has expanded to the creation of free radicals without the oxygen. Another example would be biting into an apple. If you leave it exposed to oxygen, it's going to turn brown, right? But if you add an antioxidant like lemon, it doesn't turn brown. So what an antioxidant does is it donates an electron to make things more symmetrical and stabilize this atom. And antioxidants always come in a group or a network.
Not only are we putting bad foods in our bodies, but we're not sleeping well. We are having negative thoughts and stress. We are, ingesting pollution. We're drinking alcohol, which is poison. Overdoing it on drugs, you name it. We're doing so much to our bodies. So to help fight just any of that, you know what I'm saying? With water, something that we all got to put in our bodies anyway, it's a huge plus. You know what I mean? So, look, we're gonna die at some point, but don't you want to live gracefully? You know what I'm saying? Not sick. And the reason we die is because our cells and our DNA turns on us at some point. But there are ways to negate that for as long as we can. There's a lot of ways, but drinking this kind of water is definitely one of them.
Absolutely. Yeah, what happens too, Mike, is when you're drinking this water, it's like nature and science just meet together. So when you have a waterfall, that water's rushing down and it's banking off the rocks. It's creating all this hydrogen, right? So when our bodies are drinking these antioxidants, it's really just giving our body to do what it does best, which is heal itself, right? And, we can't reverse the aging process, but we can slow it down like you're talking about. So when you do drink this water, our body just truly has a chance to absorb it and do what it needs to do. And that's why I feel like we're all feeling better, and we want everyone to feel better because, like you said, Western medicine, pharmaceuticals, they're going to be around. But it's we want to show people the holistic side of life and let them know that there is a chance to heal yourself and maintain that sustainability without having to, subscribe to something. When you get one of these machines in your home, you're essentially bringing that nature into your home, and it just feels so abundant to not be limited. That's the biggest thing is when I see people drinking water, they're always, subscribing. There's bottles, we're polluting our planet. We have to reverse that footprint and really set a good, how do I say, educational type of space where people can understand this is what you need to do to keep this planet alive, you know?
For sure. I mean, you know, it's karma to an extent too, especially when you know what you're doing. And I know in my house, man, we was running through water bottles. Like, it's annoying just carrying them water bottles in all the time, and they're everywhere. They used to be all over my car. It was a mess. And listen, like, even when my company started growing, like my protein, my planta, it was just exploding, and it was in big plastic containers. And we were like, yo, we're selling so much of this. This is so bad. So we spent a lot of money to go from plastic containers to eco-friendly bags. You know what I'm saying? It helped us in the long run because they're lighter, cheaper, more of them can fit on the pallet, so we save money in that sense. But also, we eliminated so much plastic that we was producing on a daily. So anybody out there that got planta, like, you got some, you know, you doing your part. You know what I'm saying? You know, we're just reducing our carbon footprint and reducing some of the plastic. We can't change everything, but if everybody is mindful of it, of the environment, of coexisting in harmony with nature, you know what I mean, this would be a better place. And I do think that people are getting more and more in tune with that, you know? Yeah. It's a lot of like ancient wisdom that I like to try to tap into. And Nikola Tesla, he's a very interesting person.
His genius shaped the world we know today, pioneering the alternating current, the electrical system which powers our homes around the globe. His influence can be seen all around us, from remote control and radio to wireless communication. Perhaps most impressive of all, Tesla's work and creations came out of his passion for science, with his earnings being sunk into projects aimed at the betterment of humanity, rather than for greed and profit.
Like, he's somebody that I have, like, you know, I study all kind of shit that I just interested in. And he's a person I want to dive deeper into because he was fascinated by the technology of, like, Kemet, the people of what they call Egypt now, because their technology was more advanced than ours, but everything coexisted with nature. It was nature. Like, instead of like drill bits and all these tools, they would be able to carve stone and move like rocks, like that's like a ton, with sound and things like that. You know what I mean? So they had light with, you know, crystals and prisms and diamonds and stuff like that. So with precious metals. So Nikola Tesla was tapped into that. That's why Elon Musk named his company Tesla. You know, he's trying to create a sustainable, you know, car company using electricity versus fossil fuel. So it's not about natural or not, because everything is natural. Fossil fuel is literally natural, right? But it's about being intelligent with how we use these resources. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, with the machine that we have, so Enagic, the company's been around for over 48 years, right? And this is nothing new. It's the past, present, and somehow the future. These devices, they have these titanium platinum dip plates. So when the water runs through it, these plates, it's really electrifying it, and it's splitting the water, making it very thin. And when it goes through the process of electrolysis, and it goes through, you know, everything that it does, it really creates this water that's electrified. That's why the pH is 9.5. A lot of these bottled water companies and just water in general, the pH is very, it's very, how do I say, low. It's acidic. And we want to really show people as well.
Why is explain how the typical water bottle has a low pH?
So really, initially what happens is these bottled water companies have figured out to gimmick true alkalinity. So they add like sodium bicarbonate and these fake chemicals, per se. If you look on the back, you'll see ingredients, and they're full of these ingredients. And if it's, you know, good for you, those ingredients should just say water. So
they're adding that to give you the illusion of alkalinity?
Absolutely.
But why do they even need to do that? Why isn't water just alkaline?
Because what happens is when you put it in that bottle and you seal it, you're suffocating all the properties, right? So what happens is this water, it becomes very old and dead. A lot of the bottled water that you're drinking, it's anywhere from 8 to 10 months old. Like it literally has no structure. So that's what you want is structured living water, which is, you know, what we are as beings, right? Like we're structured living beings. So when we put living water into a living body, we get a living result. But a lot of people are living beings and putting this dead water into their body.
So when you conceal the water, it starts to die?
Absolutely.
So even this?
Yes, and the reason why is because well, here's the reason why is because when you put water in this, it's glass, so you know it's not plastic, right? The plastic will actually start to go into the water. You're drinking water that's full of plastic,
bleach chemicals.
Yeah, right. And in reality, when you are moving water around, it starts to take away the properties as well. I've learned. Like I've used this water and done a test where I put the water in a cupboard, and for 30 days, in a dark concealed box, without it moving, it held its charge for over 30 days, which is insane because, you know, bottled water, it's clear, so the sun's going through it, right? And you're literally losing all those properties.
Why?
Why
doesn't, I thought this would lose its properties if it was sealed.
Yeah, so it will initially, but it's because when you're moving it, you know.
That's what kills it?
That's what's killing it. That's what's removing it. I just did that study. Have you done that, Meg?
I haven't, but I do know that this water, even when sealed, it'll keep its charge for at least 72 hours. This is not filtered tap water. This is restructured ionized water, and so it just holds a different level of charge that isn't easily taken away. What I love about this company in general is it's based in Japan. Japan has the #1 longevity rate out of any country.
The Japanese archipelago is breaking records in terms of longevity. The archipelago has the largest number of centenarians in the world, 3 times more than anywhere else.
That being said, this technology is created there, and you know the U.S. is 38th place in longevity.
Wow.
So this promotes longevity. It lasts longer, and you know we're able to decrease our carbon footprint, which is so crucial.
Japan is a fascinating place. I got a lot of respect for Japan, except for they don't let you come into certain places with tattoos. That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Ooh, Tori, you're screwed.
Me and Mike rolling in there together might not be the call.
Yeah. But they have the largest number of centenarians, blue zones. You know, people living over 100, and you have to like look at these things and take in consideration and get a little bit from these places that's doing something better than us. You know, because here we just you know, we live hard. You know what I mean? We might have more fun than them, you know what I'm saying? But we live hard, you know, and at some point, you know, we're gonna get old, and like I just want to be graceful. Listen, I already told my people like this. I'm not tripping on being 100, right? But if I get old like that, and I'm like in a wheelchair, and y'all take me to the desert and put one in my head, I don't want to be a burden on nobody. I want to be a beast until I die. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if Kangen don't keep me together, you know what I'm saying, put a hot one in me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to live. It's not about the quantity of life. It's the quality of life for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's so true. I mean, I even feel as well, like, you know, with this device, I've learned too, like, you know, we travel with this device whenever we go. Like, it's so funny to me. So whenever we travel, we go through TSA, you know, when you go to take your water, it's normal, right? Throw your water out, no liquids, no beverages. But what happens with our water is we actually can take our water through. So when they tell us to put it out, we actually can, you know, how do I say, just, we're sophisticating them and letting them know, like, hey, like, we can bring our water through.
What do you say? So
we let them know that it's medically certified and we need it for our health. And at that point, they let us put it through the conveyor belt. We meet them on the other side. And then it's interesting. They will always ask you, so why do you need this? And I'm like, well, I need it for my health. And
I don't even understand why they don't let you take water on, period. That's weird.
Yeah.
Anybody know the reason?
What happens is because they're trying to make sure that there's no vapors in it, like obviously to create a bomb, you know, and because it's flammable. So someone could take something that's flammable, make something. So really that's all they're testing is making sure there's no vapors in the water. And our water clearly is electrically structured and, you know, there is no vapors. So we get to take it through.
Right. I feel like somebody not knowing what that means, electrically structured, I'd be like, that's a bomb.
Right? I thought the same thing too.
I think my machine's a bomb sometimes, because it looks insane. But it's a certified medical grade device, and I do need it for my health. We all do. And so it's amazing that I travel with it everywhere. I set it up very easily and can travel with my water in hand, which is a blessing because, you can buy the same bottle of water at a liquor store, gas station, at the airport. One place it's $1.99, other place it's $7.
Right.
And it's not dependent on the value, it's just the location of that water. And so to be able to bring this water to every location with me is such a blessing, and just having ownership of my water source. No one dictates what water I drink. I do.
I'm glad you said that, because it's such a, I tell people like this all the time, like, in our society, you cannot give all your power away. People give it away to teachers, and I'm not knocking any of these professions. They're all necessary and we need them. However, I don't trust humans, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So teachers, doctors, law enforcement, politicians, that's cool. Y'all are a resource, a tool, but what the service that they all provide is, I gotta provide that for myself and my family first, you know what I'm saying? And then we lean on that. And then your water supply, that's fucking major. Like, I didn't even think about that part. But we are 70% water, right? Our bodies, our souls, or whatever, it's really electricity, like neurons firing through our body. We have billions of neurons, and water is the most efficient conduit of electricity. So, and that's what we have in us. So drinking something so pure and so like good for you, that's like, you're just treating yourself good. That's the best case scenario if you want to have a clear mind. You want neurotransmitters to move through your body perfectly, properly, and activate where they need to go. It just makes sense. Water is so important, and people really take it for granted. It's so important.
Yeah, and this water is loaded with negative electrons, and so basically all these things that cause this oxidative stress, they're stealing our electrons from us. So this water is actually an electron donor, and it's helping us so we're not being stripped of our minerals to, combat the different stresses that we're exposed to. And, I heard you mention the blue zones.
I want to tell you about some places around the world where people live 10 to 12 healthy, robust, playful years, longer than we do in the United States. And they do it with just a fraction of the chronic diseases that we struggle with. Next to no obesity, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, or even Alzheimer's disease. These places are called blue zones, and they were identified by National Geographic fellow Dan Buettner. And they have amazing secrets that I want to share with you today. Established that about 80% of how long we live is based on how we live, our lifestyle, our habits, and our culture. And only 20% is based on our genetics or our access to basic health care. So what we wanted to do was find these populations around the world where people were doing it right. Where are the people living the longest, healthiest lives? So with the funding from National Geographic, we were able, over 10 years, to be able to find these 5 locations. It's Okinawa, Japan, Ikaria, Greece, Sardinia, Italy, the Nicoya Peninsula of Costa Rica, and Loma Linda, California.
Pardon my interruption, but we're on the topic of blue zones, and I have to chime in. The first time that I did a video about NAD3, I called it the fountain of youth.
The reason why I'm talking about all of this, okay? And that reason is NAD3. And specifically NAD. NAD3 is a product, right? We call it the fountain of youth.
And some people got their panties in a bunch. The problem with these people is they lack imagination and creativity. Now listen, the neocortex and the thalamus is where our imagination, creativity, and our consciousness resides. That's what makes us human. That's the most advanced region of the brain. Unfortunately, some people just don't access that region. They're stuck in the functions of the limbic system. The limbic system is considered the reptile brain. It's ancient, it's primitive, it's purely instinctual. Now, let's go back to my initial statement. I said that our product, NAD3, is the fountain of youth, and I stand by that product. I know it's bold, but it's true. Anything that the human mind can imagine is real, and it does come to fruition. These ideas and concepts get developed over time. produced, and then introduced to the world. Think about when the Wright brothers told people that they could fly. People laughed, they ridiculed them, ostracized them. Innovation is never well received in the beginning because people fear progress. People have a fixed mindset, so the idea of a thought that seems impossible becoming possible is just so hard for some people to fathom. But we have so many innovations that at some point they were impossible but are now normal in our everyday lives. I mean, check this out. Right now, you're looking at me through your phone. You're looking at a two-dimensional version of me that appears to be three-dimensional. You hear me and you see me like as if I'm standing right in front of you, but I'm not. I could be thousands of miles away from you. And this is not even live. This was recorded a long time ago. This is pure magic to people 50 years ago, but it's normal now. We're literally living in the future. We have so much information at our disposal, so many resources we could use to innovate and create. And listen, we've created the fountain of youth. Now, I'm 45 years old. I've recently taken an epigenetic age test, and the results showed that my biological age is 29 years old. Now, I'm sure that some of that comes from me having fairly decent genetics, but most of it is a result of my training, my nutrition, and also this product that I use right here called NAD3. See that? I've been taking this for years, consistently. NAD is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. I know that's a tongue twister, but that's what NAD is. What it is a coenzyme that's essential to metabolism. Every living cell has it, but it decreases as we age. When you have low amounts in the body, it leads to our chromosomes becoming damaged by our telomeres shrinking. When telomeres shrink, we're more likely to develop cancers, disease, and overall fast track to death. So some of the things that decrease our NAD levels are aging, overeating, also eating processed foods, stress, smoking, alcohol, and pollution. There's many more, but those are the main things. But listen, I know it sounds bleak, but there's hope. Now, there's more than hope. There's a solution. Now, a recent study from Stanford University cited that an adequate amount of NAD in the body extends the length of telomeres, and it literally reverses aging in cells in humans. You hear what I said? It literally reverses the aging cycle in our cells. When our cells age and die and get damaged, we die. This reverses the aging process in cells, which in turn reverses the aging process in us. Now, it's not drastic, but it's something. Training, 100%. Optimizing your nutrition, 100%. Meditation, 100%. But also taking NAD exogenously, that's the vibe right there. Now, there's two ways to do this. One is by IV, which is a very effective way. However, it's not really practical for most people. One, it takes a long time. It could take an hour up to 2 hours, depending on how fast you have the drip go into your arm. Now, the faster you have it go in, you're gonna feel nauseous, okay? So, outside of that, it also costs $1,000 every time you sit down to get it done. Like I said, not practical for most people. The second alternative is our alternative. It's our product, NAD3. You see, you can take it as a supplement every day. I've been taking it for years. My father has been taking it for years. If you could see, my father's 75 years old. He's still the picture of health. Speaks clear, talks clear, mind is sharp, and he's physically active. I blame a lot of that on NAD3, okay? Everyone in my family takes it. This is a manifestation of a thought that was in someone's head, an idea that sounded crazy, right? Research, development, refinement, bam, brought it to the market, and it's here, and it works, and it's powerful. Now, what you can do is click the link below. We've attached research papers, published studies, so you can see the effectiveness of NAD3. You don't have to take my word for it. I let the experts tell you themselves, all right? Much love, y'all. You know I do nothing but stand behind the best and put the best out. So keep rocking with your boy, and let's live long, fruitful lives. All right, we out of here. Peace.
Funny enough, this water is actually made to mimic the water of the blue zones. So
they get this naturally, like fresh?
Well, basically, these Japanese scientists, they were studying people that live in these blue zones. They're living disease-free well into their hundreds, and they're like, what's up with this? So they're able to collect samples of the water and reverse engineer a product that produces it for us at home. So
where are they getting their water from?
So basically, this machine, it hijacks from the tap and then goes through this electrolysis process.
No, I'm saying the people in the blue zones.
Yeah, the company's based out of Okinawa, Japan, and there is a blue zone there. But there's blue zones all over the world. And so they were studying, you know, not only the people that live in this area, but the water itself and what the molecular structure of it was. And it's smaller water, meaning there's less molecules for, you know,
So no, what I'm asking you is, the water that these people are drinking in the blue zones, is it Kangen?
No, it's naturally occurring.
Okay. Where are they getting it from though? Where are the people getting it from? From streams?
The earth, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there are places still right now on our planet that just really haven't been corrupted.
Right.
You know, they are still running, and you know, that's the thing, is like we're able to like use these devices as if they were in these natural places, because we all naturally can't have that. You know, I talk to a lot of people and they're like, man, I really just want to be able to, you know, drink spring water. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome, but you got to understand, like, there's a lot of contaminants in water in general. You know, so we have to make sure.
We don't live near a spring.
Exactly. Like we're in, you know, Orange County. We don't have a natural spring running from a mountain right here.
I mean, you could drink the beach. Go for it. Try that.
Try that.
Yeah. But nah, that's real. Yeah, it's interesting because you always think about, like, when they be like, oh, it's a drought in Cali. I'm like, how? Why? It's a whole ocean right here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But listen, it is what it is. We have water shortage, which is weird because this planet is all water. It's barely land. Like, Earth means land. This planet shouldn't be called Earth. It should be called water. Like, legit. It's 70-something% water on this planet. Y'all want to hear some crazy? They know more about the cosmos than they do about our oceans.
Oceanographers argue that the biggest roadblock for sea exploration is space. Despite the universe being incomprehensibly huge, we know much more about what happens out there than down here, spending much more time, money, and effort to do so. We've mapped 100% of the lunar and Martian surface and around 98% of our second closest planet, Venus, but only 5% of our own seafloor.
It's depths that we don't have machines that can withstand the pressure to get to yet. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Right here. They discovered like 3 billion species of aquatic life. And they think that that's only about 5 or 10% of all life underwater. What? What?
Ooh.
It's insane.
Like, to put in perspective, we are one species. It's about 8 billion, 8 billion of us, right? 3 billion species. You really, like, what?
Ooh. Yeah.
And we don't even, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, like, literally and figuratively. 8 billion. That's crazy. The water scares me though, too. You know
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think the water. I'm a Pisces, so I love the ocean. I love the water. I love going to the beach, but I have a healthy respect of that space. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I got taught a lesson by Mama Ocean not too long ago.
Really?
I mean, it's a powerful thing. Well, I was, swimming out there, and man, it'll humble you.
What happened?
I got like swept under by a couple waves, and I couldn't get my breath enough to get out, and it was rattling, but it kind of gave me a peace.
Did you relax? Because they say you're supposed to just relax, don't fight it.
Yeah, I tried, but afterwards I was able to kind of reflect on it and just be like, wow, the ocean is so powerful and so majestic, and is such a lesson teacher, and just to really be careful with the things you don't quite understand.
They call that a riptide.
Yes.
You heard that before?
Oh yeah.
So I have a friend that died like 2 years ago. Him and his son was out on the beach, and they both got pulled over. He signaled to the lifeguard where his son was, but that thing took him, and they found his body like a day later, like on a beach a little further down, washed up on shore. And when I understood what that was, I was like, yo, no thanks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I surf. I live in San Clemente, so I surf every day with all my boys, and the thing, like you just said it perfectly, is you said you have to relax, because what happens is when we feel like we're not in control, we naturally want to be in control. So what happens is you really have to relax, respect the ocean, and just like with any water, like you have to give it the power. The water has the power.
It has it.
Ooh, that's good.
Have you ever experienced that?
Oh, I've almost drowned many times. I've almost died multiple times. Absolutely. And the one thing I learned, I think, in this recent accident, I actually had my surfboard connect on a piling, and the leash wrapped around, and it kind of held me almost like I was I was tangled and trapped onto this piling. And
while the wave was going crazy.
Oh yeah, I was in the full impact zone. Waves are crashing on me. It was a stormy day, and it was a really bad time. I mean, I really was actually panicking for a second. I did the old Andy Irons trick where you put your leash underneath your wetsuit and then put the wetsuit over it. So when I was going to get it, I couldn't get it off, and I had to relax and just take a second and assess what I needed to do. But there's always going to be moments like that in the water and outside the water too.
How long did that last?
It felt like it lasted for maybe 6 minutes, but it was probably, I'd say, 1 minute and 20 seconds. Time was just...
If it was 6 minutes, you probably would have died.
I would have drowned, absolutely. Yeah.
So no breathing at all at that point.
I was barely, so what happens is your board, it could, what they call tombstoning, where the board will just kind of be coming out of the water. So it was tombstoning, and I was barely able to get my breath. And then I had to relax, take the leash off, just accept what was happening and not fight it, because I was fighting it. And that's what happened with Megan. That's what happens with a lot of people in general, though, when we drink water. Like, we're fighting what we're putting in our body. Some people act like they don't even like drinking water. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, you don't want to eat your way to health. You want to make it simplistic and drink your way to the health.
There's no eating your way to health.
Right? Exactly. And people pitch these meal plans and stuff, and I'm like, and then with the water, it's like drink a gallon of water, but there's no specifics to that. And I think that's so interesting to me that people don't specify what kind of water to drink.
Yeah, it's definitely that missing puzzle piece that's so, so important. And I've realized that in my own health, just resurrection that's happened, man. I mean, I would love to show you guys some before and after pictures too.
Throw them in here.
Yeah, we'll throw them in because it is huge, the transition that I've experienced and just the mental clarity I experienced from having my brain hydrated.
Are you done with the medication for like your mood or depression?
Oh, yeah. I'm medication free, no Accutane, nothing. I'm just, I felt like I was always be like that, and that was just genetic, and it's not. We're genetically dehydrated because we've been dehydrated for generations.
I mean, that's a good point, right? Some low hanging fruit right there is the skin, how clear it makes your skin. Yeah, why is that?
Well, because it's able to detoxify my body. It's able to release my body from all this acidic buildup that, if it doesn't have an exit route, it's going to come out of your skin. Wherever it can get out, it's gonna try and leave. So to be able to have that solution and have that mitigated within, it's not having to express itself.
when we got the machine, everybody in my house was pooping all like a lot. You know what I'm saying? Super regular. I always do because I don't eat much. But everybody just it's super regular.
It's detoxifying your body on a cellular level.
Yeah.
And that's like the beauty of this. Like, oh man, is because when you're detoxifying your body, like you're removing the things that don't serve you. So that's really what the water's doing. It's not like this is like magic water. It's just it's so thin that it can penetrate your cells, penetrate all these, organs, these things that are really just getting kind of gunked up, and it's just detoxifying your body. Every sip we take, we're detoxifying our body, and that's the name of the game, is how can we just detoxify our life from stress or people or pain? Like, that's what we're all trying to do, is detoxify ourselves, so.
And we were talking about how, money can work for you, essentially. And it's like, don't you want your water to work for you? Yeah. That's like going to the gym every single day and getting 0 results. Yeah. That's like drinking, bottled water, filtered tap water. I mean, we're doing the work, but we have nothing to show for it. And that's unfortunate. So to be able to plug this in to that necessary, function that we need to do is drink water. It's a blessing.
People they see on my story me with the blue bottle, and they be like, "Yo, what is that? How can I get that?
I want that.
How do I get that?
Is that sake? What's that?
That is, baby. Nah, you can. But let's how can they get access to this water?
So people like us, people like me and Tori, what's so awesome about this company is that they believe one of the pillars of health is financial health as well. And so any distributor that you might come into contact with can definitely help you, get on game with this water.
Can you help?
Absolutely.
Like you helped me?
I helped you, yep.
I like what you said, being healthy, like physically, but financially. I'm all about that, and my audience know I'm all about that. Like, people like, they fear what they don't understand, hate what they don't conquer. They rebel what they feel like they can never have.
True.
And money is one of those things, and it's like, if you keep telling yourself you're not gonna have money, and money is very important. It's not the root of evil. You're the root of evil. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Money is an inanimate object. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
You use it for good if you have it, right? But
it's a resource.
It can give you freedom,
Yes.
And with freedom comes happiness. You know what I mean? And when you're starting to like have resources, financial resources, you got some breathing room to start thinking about other aspects of your health and of your life, and start to, like, everybody that I know, I'm around just a lot of wealthy people, and the older they are, they're tapped into so many like dope things that keeps their lives and their health optimized. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be sitting with, like, I got a mentor of mine, Mr. Tantillo, big shout out to him. He's in Italy right now, but he's dope. Like, he's about 70 or so, but you talk to him, he's like a young man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's full of energy. We met at the gym. He's always at the gym, killing it, doing his thing, hitting the sauna, you name it. But his brain, he speaks like not an older guy, like a young person, like, because the brain can stay healthy and spry as long as we take care of it. You know what I mean? So that's the vibe, is to like age like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so they're gonna get in touch with you, and
yes.
you're gonna help everybody.
Yes, I'm gonna help everybody get hydrated.
Let's do it.
Megan's changing the world.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
Oh yeah, I love it too. Yep. Yeah. I mean, you helped me, my household. I'm a firm believer. Now, once I experienced it, I was locked in. You know what's crazy? Out of all the years of people trying to like sell me Kangen, I don't think anyone's ever let me try it. I don't recall. People just try to push it from a financial standpoint.
You know what? I have to tell you right now. So that's something that I've learned in the network marketing industry. To be honest, I feel like it could be extremely tacky to me. Something about like my family and my father, like the way we do our business, because we have other businesses in town, is we're all word of mouth. Yeah. And I do believe that people just try and sell you. The thing I think with me and Megan, the Awakening, a lot of like the people that we roll with is we're trying to show you the lifestyle of this. We don't want to sell you. We want you to see that there's a lifestyle that's better than just purchasing something and, for say getting lost in that purchase. Because, it's like, if you don't see the value, that's okay. We're not trying to sell you. We want to show you.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. You're an entrepreneur. You have many businesses. The last thing I'm going to do is try and pitch a business to you. You have plenty of that going on.
Every day.
But what I do know about you is that you're effective and you're efficient. And so I knew that this is a type of water that you would want in your life because it's effective and it's efficient, and it cuts down a lot of the guesswork in hydration. I knew it would be a good fit for you, and my goal is not to sell anyone, but to educate them to a point where they can make their own decision.
Right.
And so that's really where the magic is. And being able to share with people, I'm so blessed that we're local, but being able to share with people is amazing because they can really experience it for themselves. And I think it's important.
I'm gonna tell you what I really appreciated about you with this. It was I can see that you was very like just pure about it. It was just a pure energy, a pure vibe, and you kind of gauged me, right? And you seen I be in here talking to you on a call, people running in and out, you know what I'm saying? You see I'm busy, so you were very persistent with me, but in not a pushy way at all. It was like as if I know that this can bring value to him. I know he wants it. I'm not gonna let this fall out of his mind. So I'm gonna, hey, remember this, in a very cool way. And
that's right.
I like people that are persistent in a good, like when their energy is pure, you can tell, versus when they just want something from you or whatever. And that wasn't the vibe at all. It was like pure, and I really appreciate that. And I think you're a very good representative. I mean, she represents you because she came through you, you know what I'm saying? But you're a very good representative of the water, the company. I don't know much about the company,
the
but
culture behind
the
it.
culture, and that's everything. It's about culture.
Yes, sir. That's how we do it, though. Like, you know, because what happens is when you get involved with the business per se, like you're really learning from people who have been doing it. And we're with one of the biggest teams in North America. But to be honest, like, I love hearing that. Like, that is so satisfying to me right now, because that's what we do. You know, like Megan was never here to sell you. Obviously, clearly, you know that. And you know, the real goal though is to just show people exactly what she did, which is the value within yourself. And everyone out there is just so dehydrated that like we're just like, hey guys, let's just hydrate the world through one bottle at a time, you know?
It's real. I know when I be dehydrated, I'm like, yo, I'm dehydrated. You know what I'm saying? I got a little headache and sleeping that good, fatigue, like all of that. Yes. Yo, we are literally mostly water, living in a water planet.
Yes.
So we got to be putting the good stuff in our bodies.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, like, I really appreciate y'all for coming down, spending time with me. Let's let the people know where they can find both of y'all at.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So we're going to just drop a link below, and you'll be able to book a call with me, and I can help to get you a little bit more educated on what this water can do for you and your family. And yeah.
What about IG, social?
And then you can reach me. I'm at Megan Dem Gains.
Hey.
And we're making those hydration gains too. And yeah, I would love to connect with you guys.
Dope.
Absolutely. You can find me at KillaT1. And Mike, we just want to say thank you though, because you've really created such an amazing culture and a foundation for all of us to just plant seeds in. And I just want to thank you so much. We thank you. The Awakening thanks you for just being you.
I appreciate it, man. And I'm literally here for it. I'm here for this. So I appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Right, cool. And we up out of here. Peace.
Yee. So cool.
Oh my gosh.